Matt Hughes tweeted me this morning. Actually, to be correct, it was at 6:37 a.m. My phone was set up really loud, and it just beep beep. And I know that's my Twitter sound when someone hits me up on Twitter, and it was Matt Hughes. And Matt Hughes, what I did last night was I was bored, so I tweeted, top 5 people, fighters that ever graced the octagon. So, I made this list, of these 5 guys that I think that, really, in their time anyway, made quite an impact on the UFC. And I'm speaking strictly UFC here. And there ended up being 7 guys, okay? I couldn't make up my mind, right? So I just threw some honorable mentions out there. So he tweets me this morning. He just so happened to be one of them. So he tweets me this morning. You say there's supposed to be 5 on here, but there's 7. Question. And I'd heard that Matt Hughes is a dick. I don't think he was being a dick at all. I just think he was, wondering if, I don't know. Is he egotistical? Is he that egomaniacal that that I'm a huge Matt Hughes fan? So is he that egomaniacal that he really cares what a kid, a 28-year-old from Pittsburgh thinks on Twitter? Or did he just, or was he just as bored as I was? I don't know. But it was pretty interesting. To say the least, talk to MMA legend, UFC Hall of Famer Matt Hughes, most dominant welterweight of all time. Anyway, I'm going to go to what is unquestionably, no doubt, without a doubt, the most unappreciated and most not cared about. Go ask someone who they like for the main event on this card. It's UFC on Fuel TV 7. Yeah, and I think part of the problem is because most people don't get Fuel TV, especially where I live. They don't get Fuel TV. But I looked up betting odds, and I couldn't find them. I couldn't find them on the fucking internet. I couldn't find them on Google or Bing. No betting odds. I found like a couple. I actually found the entire undercard, and we'll talk about this in a second. The undercard should actually be completely switched with the actual fucking main card. And trust me, I think you'll agree with me when I read the names off. And the main event is Barao, who is no joke. Some websites have him listed as, 32-1. Some have him listed as 31-1 with 1 no contest. But most websites, the big ones, the important ones, have him listed as 29-1 and 1 no contest. So we're going to go with that. So it's February 16th. It's in London, England. It's on free TV. It's Barao. And, it was supposed to be Dominic Cruz. Very sad story what happened to Dominic Cruz. Blew his ACL out. Got the surgery. He got the surgery. Something went wrong. The surgery got infected. So he had to do the surgery all over again. So Dominic Cruz, the best bantamweight that we had known at that time, is now has to sit out for another year. It was just a terrible story. Even though I hate the way Dominic Cruz moves. I mean, he has great boxing. I mean, he has the great boxing defense and awesome wrestling. But I just can't stand the way that he looks like he's dancing, literally. But let's get into it. He's facing Michael McDonald. He's no joke. When I saw his record, especially on Sherdog, I was quite shocked. At 15-1, at age 22, he has an 87% finish ratio with 9 knockouts, 4 submissions, and only 2 decisions to his credit. He's only been beaten once, and that was by decision. So he's never been knocked out. He's never been submitted. He looks pretty fearless, and everybody, he rose to fame actually, taking a fight on short notice against Miguel Torres and knocking him out. I mean, unconscious, like Brian Bull style, in the first round. But I mean, all that could easily be taken away from Mr. McDonald. Unquestionably, Barao is part of this new breed. This guy's got it all. He's got Muay Thai. He's got takedown defense. He's got takedowns. He's got jiu-jitsu. His record speaks for itself. And I also did a little digging on Barao, and he has 6 wins by knockout, 13 by submission, and 10 by decision. So he's kind of a decision guy. Cub Swanson. is the co-main event, and he's fighting Dustin the Diamond Poirier. This guy, I saw fight for the first time against the Korean Zombie. I like the Korean Zombie. I think that guy, I mean, if he just never said a word ever, if he just never talked, I would think he was like super cool. He just looks like the kind of guy. If you've ever seen American Dad, the show American Dad, his son has a friend that looks just like him, and he looks like the most harmless little Chinese guy in the world. Like, he wouldn't do any harm, you know. He's 145 pounds of nothing, you know, and I mean, he handled, especially his jiu-jitsu. Who's wicked. I really like to know where he trains, especially where he grapples at, because I mean, he ended the fight with a beautiful Darce choke, which is actually Dustin the Diamond Poirier's go-to move. It was absolutely beautiful, that fight. So if you've never seen the Korean Zombie versus Dustin Poirier, and that's what I think of when I think of Cub Swanson and Dustin Poirier, two guys that lost to two of my favorite fighters. Cub Swanson talked a bunch of shit back in the WEC days. He fought for the WEC first, and he had a big name in the WEC. Jens Pulver lost a fight to BJ Penn in his UFC return. Excuse me, my fucking throat annoying me, hurts. So he decides to move down to 45 in WEC. Now at this point, the WEC is Zuffa owned. I had no idea. You know, it was my favorite. It was my favorite organization. So Pulver moves down there. That they assign him. You know, he's undefeated at 45. He had fought at 45 before. They assign him Cub Swanson to welcome him into the blue octagon. So he steps in there and he fucking chokes Cub Swanson out in like 30 seconds. And it's some sort of wrestler choke, like a modified guillotine. This fucking choke is so tight, it looks like his head's gonna pop off. So, but you know, in that fight, if I had to guess, you know, I'm gonna say Dustin Poirier. He's just he's gonna have an insane reach advantage. I know striking is Cub Swanson's, you know, cup of tea as well. It's just I think Dustin Diamond Poirier would be able to do it a little better, a little faster, and on the ground I think he has a huge advantage. So I'm going to give it to Poirier. And then we have Jimmy. This is hard for me because I really have never heard of this guy. He's undefeated at 12-0. Jimmy Jimmy Manua at 12-0, and he's facing Cyril the Snake Diabate. And now that's a guy I know something about. He's primarily a striker. When you see him, his legs are probably longer than Silva's. Arms that look like they're as long as John Jones. So he's made for Muay Thai. But recently we've seen him coming around with a well-rounded game. Last win came by submission. So I like Diabate, I really do. But I'm gonna have to go with this guy. I'm going to go with that guy that I've never seen fight and have no clue who he is. That's what I'm going to do. Shows how much I really like Cyril Diabate. Anyway, okay, and now we have Gunnar Nelson against Jorge Santiago. Again, two guys that last time I saw them out. Now, this, last time I talked about Dustin Diamond Poirier getting choked and Cub Swanson getting choked. Last time I saw these two guys, they both got knocked the fuck out. So, I mean, I'm dead serious. This has to be the most overlooked card in Bass Ackwards card. In a second here, I'm going to read you the undercard, which I think someone did. I mean, Joe Silva, just had a little too, I don't know, a little too much the night before he decided to make the matchups or something. I don't know. I don't care, because I'm for sure gonna watch the undercard, the prelims. I don't know too much about the main event. I'll watch the main event, co-main event. I don't know about the main card itself. I could pretty much. Well, you know what? I would watch, Derek fucking McFlingy Nuts versus fucking John Doe. It doesn't matter to me. If two guys are fighting, I'm there. I'm all in. I like mixed martial arts. It doesn't matter if it's in a fucking cage. Doesn't matter if it's in a boxing ring, a circle. Like Elite XC had this like neat little circle. It was kind of cool actually. So. I just like to watch two dudes fight. I think it's the ultimate sport. I mean, it's like Joe Rogan said. You can't be playing basketball with someone or get into a fight. You're getting your ass whooped. You're better at basketball than this guy, but this guy can kick your ass. He can kick your ass. Like, he can just beat the shit out of you anytime. Just, just like light you up, and you're just, defenseless. He just kicked your ass. And it's not like, you're getting your ass kicked and you're like, man, this was basketball. I would totally fucking be dunking on you right now. You can't do that. This is the ultimate form of sport. And I agree. I don't think there's anything barbaric about it. I think it's the most technical sport in the world. And I think that the athletes that participate in mixed martial arts are finely tuned, the most finely tuned athletic machines. I think, kicking off the main card, so it's Che Mills and Matthew Riddle, two guys I love to watch fight. Love to watch fight. Che Mills, primarily a striker. Matt Riddle, came in. I think he came on to the Ultimate Fighter Team Rampage as his MMA debut completely. He's never fought before ever. And Rampage was quoted as saying Matt Riddle got knockout of the century to get into the house, move into the house. He did not advance. He was actually submitted by Tim Credor later on in the season. And ultimately did not make the Ultimate Fighter, but still fights for the UFC. He's really tight with Forrest Griffin. He's from Louisiana, jiu-jitsu expert. I like in this fight. I like Matthew Riddle. Che Mills, I think he's been around. He's definitely he's been there, done that, but. I'm gonna go with Riddle here. I'm gonna go with Riddle, the kid that's still learning, that's still learning to put things together, willing to learn, willing to add things to his arsenal. Whereas Che Mills, I think, is pretty set, in just the stand-up, portion of MMA. Now the undercard features such names as Terry Edom, Paul Sass, Danny Last Call Castillo. Andy Ogle, Josh Grisby, and Vaughn Lee. That's the fucking undercard. That's the undercard. I'm not even going to tell you who's versus who because it made me angry. But that's the undercard, and what I broke down was the main card because that's just, my format. But it's insane. But yeah, even more insane again was getting woke up. I mean, getting woke up at 6:37 a.m. By Matt Hughes on Twitter. It's cool, it is cool and like I said, there's probably no one on earth that was a bigger Matt Hughes fan than me. There really wasn't, and I still idolize the hell out of Matt Hughes and what he did for the sport. He's literally an icon, a legend, and it was an absolute. I was stunned. I was actually, I was pretty stoked. So I'll be doing pre-fight and post-fights a lot more often. It seems like people can relate to these. They get fewer hits, but it really doesn't matter to me anymore. As long as I like the video, I'll keep them rolling. And let me know what you guys think. If you guys like the main card, great. If you think it should be switched, please say so down below in the comment section, because to me it's a no-brainer. Oh, by the way, main event, Barao is going to retain the title. I mean, anyone that made objections to that, I mean, the kid's got an 87%, killer ratio, 87% finish ratio, but he's only got 16 professional fights, which is a lot. 16 professional fights. He knocked Miguel Torres out in epic fashion, which isn't easy to do. But Renan Barao, 31-1 record. What is he on a 28 fight win streak? So that's not going to be easy to snap. He's not going to let that belt go easy. It is an interim belt. Remember, Dominic Cruz is still the UFC bantamweight champion. And prayers be with Dominic Cruz. And thank all of you for viewing. Please rate, subscribe, and leave a comment.